Right now, there is a complete epidemic of clickbait on YouTube, and people are actually getting a lot smarter about it because what is clickbait by definition? When you promise something in the title and thumbnail and then don't deliver. So, what are people instead doing? They are confirming your biases. So, if the title or thumbnail is imminent warning, something is going to happen now, then they start off the video because this is what Mr. Beast teaches. And unfortunately, I have uh, given the advice to some people and they have taken it into the wrong hands of doing similar things. So if you clickbait in your title, what you do is you start off your video confirming the clickbait. And this is where it actually gets dangerous is because instead of just clickbaiting, now they are doom baiting in the actual video is and they are being incredibly hyperbolic with the words that they're saying. So, because you know that it's clickbait if you don't open up the video and talk about what you promise in the title and thumbnail. So, what people are doing is saying, let me just read one from this guy that I don't like emergency. Get your money out of all banks today. And then it's a picture of all of the major banks and fire blowing up around it and a shocked face on the screen, as you could surely imagine. So, how would they start the video? Probably saying, hey, you need to get all your money out the bank. And then they're going to make up reasons as to why you have to. So, right now, people are being incredibly hyperbolic in all aspects of YouTube, where they are then confirming the bias in the video, making you think that things are way more exaggerated than they are in real life. And this is what news do. The problem is news channels, they had much more of a monopoly. So they didn't really have to worry about it. YouTube, actually, you get rewarded the crazier you get. So these same people that don't really understand YouTube, but they realize the further out of line they get, the more views they get and the more revenue comes to them. What they're doing is they are just getting crazier and crazier statements. And then they are just exaggerating the truth to where it's no longer the truth. And you become numb to things when things actually get bad because you hear the worst case scenario at all times of every single day. Uh, let me just read this title. Urgent warning. Imminent stock market crash is coming. In the title, it says only days left. Bunch of fire, bunch of smoke, whatever. This video was from 6 months ago. Okay. So in the video, he's obviously going to talk about that. And there's dozens from this exact same channel talking about the exact same things. And it is just disgusting on so many levels. So why shouldn't you do that? Because someone that wants to have a brand, what is the number one thing over time? It's going to be reputation. And let's say you're in the finance space talking about stocks. What does your reputation depend on? It's about you being right at the end of the day. And if you were wrong and just being a chicken little forever, which guys in the gold space have been doing this forever, when you are constantly wrong, you will have a diehard fan base who just want their biases confirmed. But are those really the people that you want to talk to? The closed minded people who don't really care, they just want their daily dose of confirmation bias, where they are going to be told what they think every single day. But in reality, the reason they think the worst case scenario is coming is because of these people who are exaggerating the truth. And this exact same person, I know that they are buying an Aston Martin right now. That's like $200,000. So when you're saying the worst thing is ever going to happen, World War III is coming, prepare, get a bunker, do all these terrible things, you're buying an Aston Martin. Come on, dude. Come on. I mean, just have some self dignity. This is honestly pathetic. But it's not just with this. People are saying, do these 7 things to get rich today. And then what are they talking about? Go in the cold tub, meditate, listen to some Alex Hormozy podcast. What, dude? Come on. They're just giving incredibly basic tips that have no relation to how much money you make. Because I know people who have incredibly good habits. They wake up early, they go to the gym, they take cold showers, they go in the cold tub, they go in the sauna, steam room, they stretch, they meditate, and they're poor. And they're incredibly poor. Why? Because good habits does not equal high income. High income equals doing the things that you have to do to increase your productivity. Why? Because high income does not equal good habits. Sure, it may help, but there's plenty of people who are drinking every single night, who are smoking every single night, who are doing drugs, who are fat, out of shape, lazy, that are way richer than you, that are doing 100 times more. Why? Because they're doing the reps. They are doing the thing that you need to do to get rich, which is gaining the skills and the experience and uh, putting in the reps to actually equate to those skills. If you wanted to break David Goggins's pull-up record, what would you do? You would have to start getting really fucking good at pull-ups. And let's say you start doing 1,000 pull-ups a day, and then by week 7 in your regime, you'd go to 2,000 pull-ups a day. What's a skill that you're trying to learn? Let's say it's sales and you're knocking on doors. So knock on 100 doors per day. And guess what? If you do that for 6 months, you are bound to close somebody because it is the law of large numbers. And guess what? You are going to get so much better. I have a perfect example of this. One of my friends, Nathan, he was a roof knocker and he was not making any money. Any. But guess what? This dude fucking won. He was walking. You could see on his Apple Watch like 15 fucking miles a day. He was walking 15 miles a day door knocking. How many doors is that? And he did that 7 days a week. And guess what? Now he's bringing in a lot of fucking money because he got super good at it. And you know what he did? He then partnered up and started a new business with his friend. And now they are doing incredible amounts of money. Why? Because he put in the numbers. And if you do that, you are bound to be successful over time. That was a long tangent, but that is just one of these things where people are making these useless videos, which I don't mind because I'm doing the same thing. This is a useless jargon that provides no value. I am just sick and tired of seeing people who don't understand long-term reputation enough. Or maybe they do and they don't care, but they are trying to make the short-term win. And that short-term win is getting a ridiculous amount of views and increasing the revenue towards their business a lot. But what does that succumb to? A long-term loss because your reputation is getting killed and your product probably isn't that good. Because if you have a fantastic product, which I don't, which is why I don't sell anything, and I'm not going to sell anything because who wants to buy something from a 21-year-old kid? Every single person on YouTube is selling a course for $1,000 as to how to get rich, and people still buy it. And I still buy them. I buy them from people who I know are experienced business owners, but every single person that on YouTube now has some sort of product that they're selling. And the way that you sell it is getting more views because more views equals more customers. And this is literally what I do for a living. I help people get more views to get more customers. And it's the whole funneling product. But what most people are misunderstanding is your reputation matters way more in the long run because I guarantee I could blow up somebody's business because I could blow up their channel, get more views, and then through a variety of sales and funneling tactics, get, let's say, a huge conversion rate over to the product. And you're going to see this huge spike in scales. So much stuff is going to go right. But what's going to happen? Your product's probably not that good. People start to leave. And then you can't get more people because everyone that watched your videos, they no longer watch them because they actually suck. And that's one of the most important things. If somebody watches one of your videos and they realize it sucks, they are never going to watch it again because you lost their trust. Let's just say, for me, for an example, I never necessarily trusted the government, but after 2020 with the lockdowns and the shot mandates, we will call them, I lost 100% trust for the government. And now I am naturally very skeptical of anything that they say, and I went down this entirely long process of becoming a deep libertarian, uh, gaining in a bunch of values that I never knew that I had, strictly because I lost the trust from the government because they lied and they told me that I was going to kill my grandmother if I did this or that. So now, anything that the government says, I am naturally skeptical. And once you lose trust from somebody, it is very, very difficult to gain it back. Like me with the government, like most people with YouTube, they make an incredibly clickbait video and then they lose trust. The problem is, well, it's not a problem because people are smart and they realize that you can actually manipulate the viewer. And this is where I have a problem because people are now, instead of just clickbaiting, they are confirming what they say in the title and thumbnail, and they are blatantly lying about the statistics because they have the statistics and then they spin them to make them whatever way they want it to be perceived in the title and thumbnails to where they know they will get the most views. I've quite literally heard people say, I can't talk about that because it spins the narrative that I'm trying to perceive in this video. It comes down to, do you want to know the truth? Or do you want other people to know the truth, which is what you are promising with your paid product, with the videos that you're making. And I wouldn't have a problem with it if people just talked about both sides, but they are spinning the narrative and then not talking about anything good. Or they are spinning the narrative and then they are ignoring all other data on purpose, even if they are aware of it. But they don't talk about it because they know that the fan base that they've created around a certain narrative would disagree with it. And that is just blatant manipulation. And that bothers me at a very core level. I also think that the mega rise of clickbait and overproduction, we're almost seeing an opposite shift. There's people like Sam Sulek rising today who are just raw talking, having a conversation to you, the person. Uh, I actually enjoy that a lot. He's not treating me like the TikTok kid who needs to be constantly overstimulated by having multiple screens playing at once, where you have the person talking and then the subway surfers underneath, the nonstop over editing, the over dopamine stimulation. He's just giving it to you how he thinks raw. And there's a huge trend of people who are sick and tired of this massive change. And I'm sick of it because it is just gone wildly over the top and out of proportion than anything that we could have imagined. So I do think that we will see a trend of people like Sam Sulek coming along where their goal is just to talk about the things that they like, stay in their lane and do the things that they know about, and are not getting too overly complicated and overly flashy. So I do think that's a good thing because I don't think you should be exposed to nonstop dopamine from the second dopamine manipulation, I'm going to call it, because you trigger an emotional response in the title thumbnail, and then you grab that response in the video through the hook, through the process, through the editing, the whole entire sequence going forward. And there's a real science behind it. And if you can master it, you can get a shit ton of views. The problem is people are spending less time learning and coming up with ideas and the packaging, and they're coming more time. Hey, I know that if I say the world is going to end, people are going to watch it. Until they stop, I guess we'll find out. This is day 17 out of 1000. If you have any deep enemies that you hate, I would highly recommend sharing this video with them.